Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this beautiful blue-green globe of ours. Welcome to Real News Live. I'm your host, Mike Barrett in Seattle, Washington. I don't seem to have quite enough light on me today. All my normal lights, I think, are on. That's weird. But I am joined today by the wonderful, the amazing, our lovely friend, Jennifer Falah Doring, the lady with the lustrous hair in Hayden, Idaho. Jen, how is your Wednesday going?
Oh, it's going good. Going good. I don't really have. I didn't have time to get in and get any Gentel, so we're just going to answer questions today.
We'll have to wing the Gentel today, but that's fine. I've got some stuff I want to ask you about. Just a couple of notes. I'm not sure. I'm supposed to be traveling for a TV gig in Brooklyn. I'm not sure yet when that's going to be. I just got just now got the email giving me flight time, so either Thursday or Friday show or both I may be missing, and probably no SNL because I'll probably be either in transit then or in Brooklyn. If I'm in Brooklyn, I'll try to take my laptop and try to put together an SNL for everybody if I'm staying overnight, but we don't know yet. So hang on that. And then next weekend, the following weekend, I leave on Wednesday for Texas. They want me there early, and I will be pretty much out of pocket that entire time as well, doing the UFO, the Edinburgh UFO Festival down there in Edinburgh, Texas. Okay, Jen, now that we got all that out of the way, the reason we're a little bit late, by the way, is Jen was helping me with my kitty, Aurora. Most of you guys know Aurora, my little white kitty, and she's been struggling a lot, but we're trying some new treatment methods, and I will keep you posted on how that goes. So, Jen, thank you for the advice. The advice was, by the way, to use I got a little ivermectin for cows. I had it, and I put a few drops out of a syringe onto my plastic gloved finger and rubbed it in her back, and we'll see if it helps her. It's Jen swears by it, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, right? And I'm optimistic that plus a cortisone shot is going to make her quality of life in her last few months a lot better. Okay, Jen, I have to ask you about the bitch slap heard around the world. I know you don't really necessarily want to talk about this. I know you already have some thoughts, but there's a couple of new things that I want to bring up that have come up. Yesterday, an image emerged in 8K quality images. You can see a pad on Chris Rock's cheek. And yeah, the conspiracy theorists are going to go crazy with this. And as I zoomed up on it and looked it up, it looks pretty obvious to me that there's some sort of padding or patch right there where Will Smith was gonna slap him. So what I gotta ask you is, first of all, is this real? Is that really on his face, or is this Photoshop?
My first impression is that this is an edited photo somebody put out.
Okay, so you think that's probably Photoshop. All right. Yeah. Secondly, what about the whole incident? It was just very, very weird. And there are rumors, which I'm going to ask you about, that Pfizer actually sponsored the Oscars and that they have a drug coming out for alopecia, or whatever the condition is that Jada Pinkett Smith supposedly has that causes her to lose her hair, even though quite clearly she shaves her head on purpose. She has plenty of hair there. If you look at her scalp, it looks like she's got plenty of hair. And that this was all a stunt to bring attention to alopecia and the fact that Pfizer, the sponsors of the Academy Awards, are going to be coming out with this new drug. Does any of that ring true to you or the Angels?
No.
No, that's not. Okay, you don't buy that. So what do you think? Your gut impression, I know you spoke about it on Telegram, but not everybody follows you on Telegram, although they should. What do you think is going on here?
I have to go with what I originally got. A lot of times, if you rethink something, you're wrong. my original impression of it was that the wife, so the wife's got a lot of dirt on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
She's some kind of like
high priestess,
grand poobah, whatever, in the witches thing. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that sounds way out there, but it's true. And when that's the reason he hasn't left her, and she gets to do whatever the hell she wants. So she got pissed off. Take a look at the way they were seated. I mean, it just seems like she was some kind of grand something sitting there on her tuffet. And so she looks over at him. He's laughing. She's like, you better do something or you're screwed. He gets up, walks up there, slaps the dude, turns around, then comes back and acts all ghetto.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. And that's what I got.
Okay.
And Chris Rock ends up apologizing to them because he knows what their position is in this whole cabal thing. They're freaking out because they know they're about to go down.
Yep.
And they're sitting there at the Oscars trying to act all like, oh, everything's fine. And everything in Will Smith's life is falling apart. And so he just lost it and went up there and did that. And that's my take on it. It could be wrong, but that's what I originally got.
No, I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility at all. And the thing is that all these contradictory things now, you know, the patch, the sponsorship by Pfizer, which may or may not be true. I believe we can check that if there were Pfizer commercials during the Academy Awards, although God knows I don't want to watch the broadcast or give them any ratings. But all that stuff is kind of interesting in the sense that it is in conflict with other stuff I saw. Now, I didn't see any in the live video I've seen in some other photographs, still shots. I didn't see any indication of this patch on his face. So I kind of thought, well, this looks like it could be Photoshop. But, you know, I don't know. I'm not an expert. And it looked exactly like he was laughing. And then he looked over at her and she gave him a dirty look. You can see her giving him a dirty look. And then 2 seconds later, he walks up on stage and slaps.
Now, I don't know if they privately, him and her, plan to do something to get him pulled out of the limelight because he's probably going to be taken down pretty soon. You know, that may be have been a private plan. Like, hey, pretty soon you're gonna have to do something catastrophic, could be in the news, so that you don't get movies and there's a reason for you disappearing. Okay. But that's a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that this here, I don't think that Chris Rock's wore a pad. I mean, I feel like that picture. I mean, it came out after the fact. We've got a few days to think this over and make this picture here. I don't think it's accurate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's about enough of the bitch slap heard around the world. I think we're going to move on from that. Okay. So yesterday, our buddy Phil G did a live stream. I don't know if you watched either one of them.
I did watch both, and I have a lot to say about that.
Okay, something called Project Looking Glass. Now, Project Looking Glass, the rumors have been around on that one since the 80s. At least I've been aware of them. Basically, it's supposed to be some sort of time machine. The interesting thing is it kind of operates on the same basis as the so-called Guardian of Forever from a Star Trek episode called The City on the Edge of Forever, where the Enterprise goes to this planet to investigate this huge disruption in time and space, and they find this device left over from some ruined civilization where you can look back in time, and as soon as they land, this thing that's been sitting there for eons starts showing them the history of Earth. And I've never thought about going back and looking at those images, but I wonder if they're like slightly different than. I've never really looked closely at the images, and there might be some messages in there. But what happens is Dr. McCoy, who's been injured, he accidentally shoots himself with a drug. He jumps through this thing at a specific moment that's flashing in time, goes back in time, changes Earth history, and the Enterprise disappears. And the only reason Kirk and some of the other people survive is because they're on the planet. Anyway, they have to go back in time. They have to replay it, jump through again at exactly the same time. Go find McCoy and stop him from doing whatever he does to change history, where Nazi Germany wins the war. Turns out Kirk falls in love with an Earth woman from the 1930s, and McCoy prevents her from being killed. And so he has to stop McCoy from saving the woman that he loves. It is one of the best episodes of Star Trek. But the point is, it's a technology where you see the past. The difference is, of course, is that you can jump into the past or apparently into the future and do some major changes. Now, what Phil says is the project he worked on was called Looking Glass, and it was similar in configuration to the wormhole machine that we saw in the film Contact. If you haven't seen the movie Contact, it's really everything about it except for Jodie Foster is terrific. Her performance is abysmal, but other than that, the movie is really, really good. Matthew McConaughey's great. Tom Skerritt is great. A lot of other people in this movie are great. John Hurt is fantastic. The script is really good, and it's about these plans that get sent to Earth to build this machine that allows them to travel through space and make first contact with an alien race. It's really interesting. But Phil said that these spinning, counter-rotating, spinning, whatever they are, is very similar to what he experienced when he saw the actual machine, which he claims to have seen. He claims to have seen the Project Looking Glass machine and having sat in it. So again, he says that the machine in Contact was modeled after what they know about this Project Looking Glass technology. It looks something like this, except that the guy sits in the middle. And he said that you can see, you can't change time in the past, and you can only see certain point in the future, but you can see everything as if you were really there. It's like projection. It's like remote viewing projection, Jen, real similar to what you do. And he gave off a diagram for what the machine looks like and his experience of it and how it creates these different fields. Of course, we don't know anything about that. We don't know the details, but this is a diagram that he showed. One thing I found is kind of interesting is Phil doesn't believe in space. Yet, if you look at this very diagram, it's actually modeled somewhat after the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber in the Great Pyramids, where some of these shafts point to different constellations, the constellation of Orion and the constellation of, I believe it's Sirius and Orion. And, they're speculating that the chambers inside the pyramids were actually for machines like this. They were for these looking glass machines where emperors and pharaohs and whoever aliens could go take a look at the future of time and space. But anyway, little flaw that I noticed in Phil's thinking there. But the bottom line, as he put it, is that Jen, that you can observe, but you can't change. The experience is almost the same as doing what you do when you use the viewing room, or even go back like when you viewed the Kennedy assassination. And I'm going to finish letting you right there. And that he says that that no matter that they looked in when they would change an event in the present time, that it could change the outcome of the future up until 2012. And after August of 2012, no matter what they did, it did not change the outcome. He's saying that basically it showed them where the Earth was headed. If the White Hats didn't do their thing, and basically after Donald Trump decided in August of 2012 to run for president, that after that they are unable to change the future history of the planet Earth, and that the outcome is always good and in our favor. So that's what we got from Phil. I don't know what your answers are going to be. I'd like to just hear the Jen tell. I can tell you're ready to go. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, it's very interesting to me. I listened to all of it because, I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what this machine does is it allows a person, so the swirling of it, the argon gas, creates a separation of self, which is interesting. If you guys have been listening to me for a while, you'll, ding, separation of self, okay?
Right.
When you're in the human body, you have certain, like, mind settings. I don't know what else to call it. I just got this. So whatever you've planned to experience in this lifetime, you've got a certain amount of mind settings, soul settings. It's like an anchor to remain within this separation of self, this your reality, without leaving it. We do leave it, and we do create an environment in which to move around, and when we dream. That's why he said it looked like we were walking into a dream. It's because we do all experience that to some point. But this allows you to separate and do it while you're awake. In a way that is more of a complete separation. So we are all a separation of self of God, experiencing and being you right now, and in order to experience everything. And within each separation of self, so that's where we get personal realities. That's where we get collective realities. That's where we get dimensions, because every separation of self, of God, must exist at a different vibrational level. Okay? So this machine may do something to the vibration of the person in that moment to create a separation of self, which is a projection of consciousness. That is what I do naturally, and I've been trying to explain it to people for a long time. I would say, well, I just go. And for some reason, I have the ability to do that, probably because I believe that I can, although it started happening before I believed that I could. But in trying to figure this out over the years, within each separation of self, you have the ability to separate probably 3 times your consciousness. So you can be sitting here watching a video, you could be thinking about something else. When you go into meditation, you can be standing there talking to the archangels, and all of a sudden you're standing behind yourself, looking at yourself. What he explained there is very similar to what I do when I project into somebody's home to heal them, or with the angels and archangels. And on that level, I don't know if they were able to see the angels and the bad guys and everything on that level within these sessions that they did with this machine. It would be interesting to find out.
It doesn't sound like there were any other beings like that, at least not the
But when you do this separation of consciousness, what it looks like is you could, and like I can when I'm sitting there on my bed and I'm going to project to somebody, or I'm going to go and cleanse the house. Somebody says there's a bad guy in the house, Mom. I can step out, see myself sitting on the bed, and walk into the living room. And in that state, I can see the archangels and Jesus and everybody else, and the bad guys too.
Right, but Jen, you're doing it organically. They're doing it mechanically. So they are mechanically recreating something that you do organically.
But what they're doing is this machine is creating a state in which makes the human soul, psyche separate again. That's what, and it was so interesting about this, and I'm just now learning about this machine. I've heard of it before, but I never really got into it. But it was so interesting because that is how it feels. It feels like it's 360. It's all over the place. You're not looking at a TV screen. You're walking around. And now he was saying it was read only. When I do it, we can do things in this time zone right now to heal people. So there's a difference. If you're here right now and you go to somebody's house with the archangels, you can put your hands on them and you can do healing. You can do cleansing. You can do all that stuff. That is why when I project somewhere, you can go to any time period. I haven't done a lot of forward, except for when people ask me questions. And there's for some reason why I just instinctively understand that this stuff is task at hand. You wait till someone asks you, or if you have a personal question of your own, you can go and look. But I need a destination, and that's why when people ask, get a healing from me, or they get a house cleanse from me, I need a picture. That is an energetic destination for me, and that's how I get there. That's all I need. I don't need coordinates. And so what he was saying last night made a lot of sense. So they have figured out how to create a machine to get past a person's doubt. I believe that everybody, and I teach everybody to do this on their own, You're a soul. You're separated right now, a separation of self. Your true self is at home, and this incarnation is a separation of self, which all leads back to God. That's why we're never separated from him. That's why he's real with you all the time. Now, when there's a separation of self, you create a personal reality. And when you ask Jesus or you ask the archangels to step into your personal reality, they can be there all the time. So this is how amazing and how vast and how infinite everything is. That's why certain theories that put God in a box and limit his area of experience, I question. Someone who has had this experience should question anything like that, because you see that we are not. If you can pop out of your body and walk around in a room, like he said, 10 minutes later, and see yourself sitting there, then you understand that we are not just a body. There are other dimensions, there are other realities, there is other everything. And this is a very interesting that he is putting this information out right now. I don't know why he is.
He also said that he thought the technology had been destroyed. Is that true, or do they still have the machines, or a machine, or several machines?
There were 4 of them.
For the 4 different timelines? Remember?
I don't know. I just got there were 4 of them.
4 timelines.
They have each been destroyed. But because they were archaic, he said. So there is another way to do this that is not so costly and damaging to a human body. Now, a long time ago, I got from the when I was asking about time travel, I didn't know anything about what Einstein knows or what science knows or anything like that. I don't get into that. Boring. Okay? I tell you, I'm a task at hand person until somebody asks me. I don't really look into it. And what I got was the difference between, I was asking about the difference between a wormhole, because I'd heard about wormholes, and dimensions, portals. And they said, wormholes and portals, they said, a portal is an opening in between 2 dimensions, which is a different, a place to exist in a different vibrational level. Okay? A wormhole goes back and forth through time from one point to another within each dimension. And it is twisted. It's like a corkscrew. So you can go one way, but if you come back, it screws you up. Okay. Physically, you can go one way, but if it comes back, people are like mentally messed up, physically messed up. I do think that they have experimented with this over the years and just haven't found a way to do it physically that is not terribly damaging. But like I've been saying and like I've been doing, if somebody asks me to go back to a certain point in time, that's why like he said, I need to know exactly when. It's like, are we talking about this dimension? Are we talking what time period are we talking about? And that's why I think it's making a lot of sense to me about what I do and why it's so hard to explain. Like somebody says, well, what are you? Are you medium? Are you this? And I was like, well, I pop in and I pop out. And I think what I'm doing when I ask the angels questions, if I'm not hearing it, if I'm seeing it, I'm going there. Just for a second. Shoot back to talk to the archangels. When I see them, if I see anything. But the difference in with if I'm doing it within this dimension and this time period, you can do things that are positive, like heal people, get rid of bad guys and stuff like
that. That's pretty interesting stuff. And, I keep thinking, so they have better ways of doing this now. I keep thinking, think about all the things I'd like to go see. Crucifixion of Christ, the building of the pyramids, the construction of Stonehenge.
Well, if you go to Philosophy on Telegram,
I know.
I put a show up about the projection I did to who built the pyramids and how. And he also put up information today, which is interesting. He's pulling all this out right now. It's just very exciting. I'm very excited about it. He put information up about Tesla's energy. Okay. When I did that projection, and that show is up on Philosophy on Telegram, I just put the link up if you guys want to go watch it. I saw that there was some kind of fluid underneath the pyramids. The top of the pyramids basically had some kind of thing on it, cap or white thing, and it powered the entire valley.
It was a cap.
They did have electricity.
Yeah, and other people have said that they think it was an electrical generator, and I think they found mercury at the bottom of these channels underneath the pyramids, which were used as part of some electrical generating system. So that's pretty
kind of conductor, yeah,
conductor thing. But yeah, I mean, crucifixion of Christ, the assassination of Caesar, the building of the pyramids, the building of Stonehenge. I would love the moon landing, the first moon landing, all the moon landings, because I have a lot of suspicions about what is there and what they were really doing, and I really want to go watch all those. So I would love a seat in one of these things and go and get some questions answered.
Yeah, the conductor had to be liquid.
Yeah,
it had to be liquid because of something about, if it was solid and it had corners and it had walls, if it was like a block of something, it would limit the area in which you could project out this energy. Now, I do believe that you would get almost like a light bulb that will light up a certain area if you put it in the middle of outside, like a certain area around it is lit up. That's how the energy works. So it had to be liquid in order to have that 360. That's what I'm just getting now.
So pretty interesting stuff, I thought. Excuse me. Pretty interesting stuff, I thought, and I was just really absolutely sort of fascinated by it. Although, again, Phil's going to tell me I can't go to the moon. I can't go to another planet because it doesn't exist. But okay, Phil, whatever. Thanks, dude. All right, so there are about 400 or 500 people between the two. Between Rumble and about 500 people between Rumble and the various YouTube channels and Twitch, and nobody on DLive. But hey, guess what? Mike Barra 2 is back. We got 57 people watching on Mike Barra 2. Problem is, guys, is I can't remember what my login is for Mike Barra 2. So here's what's going to happen. That channel is going to get taken down. It's going to get attacked. It's going to get destroyed because I'm not going to be able to delete this off of YouTube. So don't count on Mike Barra 2. Go to Mike Barra 3 or Mike Barra 333. So that's quite a few of you guys in here.
Another thing I wanted to say.
Yes, Jen.
People were saying, I said in the beginning, just instinctively when I started reading, you guys told me about Q, and I'm like, who is this Q? And, who names themselves after a letter? And so I started reading some of the posts. I have not read. I read like part of the beginning, and then I caught up when he was still posting towards the end.
Right.
What I read is as I started seeing some of these Q posts come to fruition, but the first thing I got, I'm like, this is time travel. I mean, there's no other way. So I do believe what he was saying about them using the machine and something else. All right, Gabriel's like, push that one right through me. There's something else they used as well to get this playbook. Now, there's another thing that's very important that we need to remember. And it answers the question as to why we don't understand why things are delayed or whatever. So he was talking about in his live, this is Phil Godlewski, if any of them just caught on. He did a live last night. You can go and find it. About Project Looking Glass. Now, he was talking about the natural progression of choices. This is something I've been telling people for a very long time as a person who does psychic readings, okay? I don't do it the regular way that everybody else does, but same deal. You ask me a question, I show you what I see, what I hear, just like using that thing in the future, okay? If you decide, let's say, well, am I going to keep my job? Am I going to get a promotion here? Blah, 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 blah. If you decide tomorrow to get pissed off at somebody and walk out of your job, everything changes. One decision can change the future.
Right.
So if they could find a way to go back in time and change something, they don't want to mess with that too much because, and I don't know if they can, because you're dealing with all the choices of all the separations of self of God, and that is why the dark side needs your perception. They have to influence you to create it. And so if someone decides all of a sudden to just go off on a wild hare, everything I saw for you is going to be different. And but they can't really interfere with the choices of all those people back in the past. Somebody, if it's an important enough thing to happen, somebody may make a different choice, cancel out what you went back to do. So now, as far as the timelines, there was something, I can't remember how you guys were asking me, but for a while back on the show, what I saw is it almost looked like if somebody had spilled like milk across a dry dirt, okay? When you put water on dry dirt, it will create its own little path.
A dark patch.
So what I saw are these three streams, okay? And at some point in time, they all went into one. And they merged. I don't know if that's when he was talking about the 2012. He seems to think it's because Donald Trump made a choice to change the course of history and be the one to take all the bullets and come out and run for president. It may have been a choice of many. And it may be divine path. Because what I did saw are these two streams go into one a while ago. I remember everybody was freaking out in 2012 because they said the world's going to end, the Mayan calendar is over, and I'm like, so how do you make a calendar that goes on forever, first of all? My mom even had everybody over to the house. If we're all going to die, we got to be together.
Well, it cycles.
And I'm like, I've seen myself sitting in a green field at 90s year old, and all of my children and grandchildren playing around me, somebody asking me if I want a plate. And I'm just sitting there, duh. And I thought in my mind that, well, this is pretty much close to the end. I did it. I did everything I was supposed to do. And I hold on to that. And when people tell me the world's going to end, I remember that. No, it's not. No, it's not.
You feel 90, but you're actually 180 because you're going to live that long after we get the med bed. So don't worry about it.
I don't want to live long. Only if my children live.
Kids. Those are your grandkids. Great-grandkids.
They probably were great-grandkids. There's people everywhere. And I had a second meditation where it was in the same scene years earlier. So clearly I'm going to have some awesome land with pine trees next to a body of water and a giant house. So that's good too. Yeah.
Okay. Are we?
Yeah, I'm done. It was just so interesting to me because I'm like, okay, now you're talking my language. We're talking about this stuff, but and I don't want to say anything bad about him because everybody's on their own journey of discovery here. We accumulate pieces of information and experiences in a lifetime, and we think that we know. We never want to jump to the conclusion that we know everything and we know exactly how things work because from what I've experienced for the 25 years of me researching stuff, everything is infinite. And as soon as you have more answers, there are more questions and there's more to learn. So there are dimensions. There are so many places to exist. So
hence why I want to visit all the Apollo landing sites and go see the face on Mars, all that stuff. All right, so I hope it is a real technology. I hope it has been perfected. I hope that we can all use the Guardian of Forever to travel to certain places in history and watch things. I think it would be great. I think, you know what else would be awesome would be to like stand in the middle of the ring during the Thrilla in Manila, Ollie Frazier, and just be able to like watch up close what they were doing to each other. That kind of thing would be thrilling.
Well, you know what? Okay, one more thing. I'm just so excited about this.
The Super Bowl.
One more thing.
Yeah.
The one thing that's so interesting about this is that on my website there is a series of radio shows that I did from meditations that I did over the years. I need to update it, go back into each level, but it's called The Exploration of the Levels of Heaven through Interdimensional Meditation. And in one of those visits, I went to, I haven't listened to it a long time. I think it was the third level where people, you know, it's the typical scene where you come through and you connect with your loved ones, reunite. On that level, you review your life. And I walked in there to see what that looks like. It was almost like a Grecian circular platform that was like a room. And in the middle, there was something that looked like a round thing that had fluid in it. Okay? And what happened when... This is how you review your life. As a separation of God, you have a certain plan, things you want to accomplish, and when you go to review your life, you take as long as you want. You're immersed in it. And so I could be standing right next to myself right now and here observing me doing this show. And in that, so it's a 360 thing, just like a projection of consciousness, just like he described. The viewing room, I guess it would be called. No, yeah, you could call it that. But it's when you review your life and you're there with your guide who spent that lifetime with you. And you see things in a different, multi-layered way than you did when you lived here. Here you only see your perspective. When you do this, you see how it affected everyone around you, and you decide for yourself whether you accomplished it, or it's like, yeah, maybe I didn't handle that so well, but I'll try, do that better next time. So that's the judgment.
It's or whether you feel guilty about it, or whether you forgive yourself for this.
Right, but what was interesting is there was some kind of what it actually looked like. In Harry Potter, when Dumbledore he peers into that pool and he takes something out of his ear and puts it in. That made it all scary and weird. This is kind of round, and it was like a fluid in there. It had kind of like a dome on it in the middle of the room, and you walk up to it and it begins the process. It was interesting. Now whether that was real or not, I don't know, but it looked pretty real to me.
Okay, about 500 of you guys in the live stream again, like I said on Mike Barrett too, but we have a new sponsor here on the show. NewGenCrypto.com. See, we got their new logo in our upper right-hand corner there, NewGenCrypto.com. And let me do a screen share, and we'll go to their website and show everybody. NewGenCrypto.com, NewGenCrypto.com. So the question comes up, are there any asset-backed cryptocurrencies? And the answer up to now has been no. But there is now a new one. The answer can now be yes. It's NewGen Crypto is going to be the first asset-backed cryptocurrency. And while most of them go through an exchange like Coinbase or some other wallet, you don't have to do that with NewGen Crypto. We're going to have our own exchange. It offers staking contracts that can earn like 0.35% interest compounded daily. So if you have 100 crypto coins, 100 NewGen Crypto coins sitting in there, it'll earn 0.35% every day. So after 3 days, you got 101. There's also a special 10% bonus going on right now for all of your deposits. So I made a deal with them. I got 100 NewGen Crypto coins. I actually got 110. It's going to be earning that 1% on and on. I probably got 112 or 113 at this point. It's a plan to get your currency away from the Federal Reserve System and into a digital asset-backed system. So you go to newgencrypto.com, watch the 17-minute video presentation, and then you can book an appointment time to get set up with the New Gen Crypto people and do the staking, go through the staking contracts and all that stuff. And in addition to that, we also have some important updates that they wanted me to pass along, which is that the exchange is going to be located in Lithuania. All the paperwork's been submitted to the Lithuanian government, making it possible for the New Gen exchange to become a reality in the very near future. They're planning or anticipating 2 major announcements in the next 2 to 3 weeks that will bring some great credibility to New Gen itself, while simultaneously causing our company to explode in numbers, meaning they're going to hire more people and they're going to get more and more popular. They think their coin's going to shoot up in value. And the 10% bonus of Realty coins, which they're currently giving members, are going to soon be going away when you do the smart contract. And the end date is tentatively set for the last date of April, but it could vary slightly. So get in now while you still can. That's the thing. That's the process that's going on with New Gen Coin. Get over to newgencrypto.com, watch the video, get signed up, and give our new sponsors some business. And it's something that hopefully everybody will profit from in the future. Jen, what is going on over at jenniferfalah.com?
Yeah. Hang on. I wanted to tell you guys that we have on Beacon of Light Radio today.
Oh, whoops.
I'll keep that up. That's fine. You don't have to go to Beacon Light Radio. There's a pop-up on jenniferfalah.com, and you just click it to listen to Beacon of Light Radio. It'll be the first thing that comes up. Bob Brown does Over the Rainbow. He's done thousands of shows with us. And at noon Pacific today and 3 p.m. Eastern, as long as everything goes fine and we don't have any problems. He has a guest on who is talking about Einstein's unifield field theory. That's not what I was looking at. Damn it.
You want me to go there or no?
An alien? No. Renewable energy. He's talking about a lot of the renewable energies and things like that. I saw that he was advertising this yesterday. Of course, I shared it for him. But this guy, you got to go listen to this guy. I think you guys would be really interested in this, what he has to say. Anyway, over at jenniferfalah.com, still got our toxin cleanse, DNA correction healings. We have getting a lot of good feedback from that. People just saying they feel better. Lots of different things healed from removing those toxins. Just nothing but positive feedback. I do have a lot to do right now, but I'm still doing them and I'm getting through them. So don't worry about that. Just get on there. And what you do is you purchase it and then you email me and give me a picture. You can purchase gift cards for your family members if you would like. It's a picture. You buy it. I give it to you. You send it to them. You're done for a healing or a 30-minute reading. Down below there we have Marcy Howell. Now, Marcy Howell does the same thing that I do with but she does strictly house cleanses right now and attachment removals. She works with the archangels. She has actually been trained to do this. I have not. I just learned from the archangels, but she is helping me with those. So if you need something, you think you got bad guys in the house, you're having a really hard time, it's probably an attachment, go and get one from her. Email her right there. Her email is right there, and she will need a picture as well. Let's see. We still have our classes. I have a love button. Anybody loves me, they can send money to me. You don't have to, but that's kind of cool. We have psychic development classes. This basically takes the angle of teaching you how to function better as a soul, how you truly are, to hear God, to see, to do all these things, and it's all God based. That's our anchor. That's the way I'm teaching this. I don't know what else is going on. You can purchase a reading on the readings and services page. You also have what else do we have? That's that series that I did with the exploration of the levels of heaven is also there. You just look through the pages on my website, you'll find it.
Okay. They need Levels of Heaven series right there.
Yeah, I do have, and I mean these are I did these a long time ago. I need to go back and do each one. I've just been kind of busy and haven't had time to spend on it. But I do have plenty of openings open next week for readings, so get on in there and get them before they fill up. And that's all I've got.
All right, Jen. Thank you for all that. Okay, so everybody should get over. If you have personal questions that you want Jen to answer, get over there. Again, we could use your full name or your real name or the person you're asking about's real name, the pet you're asking about. Also, please do not forget that if you would like to send me some love, I will take the love. It's paypal.me/Mike Barra, or over on Venmo, it's @Mike-Barra. I could use some love. I got traveling to do. Traveling is expensive. Even though they cover all your expenses, you still got to, I'm going to be in New York City in the next couple days. Just going out and getting some pizza can be really pricey in New York. So help me out, bail me out. PayPal.me
pizza. God, I want to go with you and eat pizza.
And @Mike-Barra. I gotta lose some weight. I gotta lay off that stuff.
I know. Me too. It's just no in-person events for me for a couple months. I gotta.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go through. Got some pinned messages here. We're gonna go through those first before we get to. Actually, let's go over to Rumble real quick and see if there's any questions over there. Legends and Idols loves the Looking Glass topic. Senna Thomas asks, is there something that's supposed to happen around April 1st or around that time? Jen, any thoughts about anything special about April 1st?
I wouldn't hang on to that time or you're going to be disappointed, but I'm really, really hopeful that we're getting really close to our credit card debt being wiped. See, like I said, like he explained in that thing, that's why I asked for specific questions so I can look at a specific time, or like when will I personally see my credit card, debt gone? And I asked that this morning trying to be specific, and I heard the first week of April. Now, that is actually kind of this week, but it could be next week. So it could be the first 7 days of April. I asked that while I was doing my hair, so
yeah. I also think you said I'd be pretty happy about a couple things next week, and that was last week. So I'll hold you.
I'm waiting for it any day now, and yeah. I think what we're experiencing here is people making little choices here and there about the way things happen, because the way that things, if you take a look around, they're dropping bombs all over the place about information. They're really highlighting.
Grassley's highlighting of Biden corruption. Is that going to lead to anything? Is that something important? So I don't know.
It's all foreshadowing. It's all leading up to this everything you're seeing right now is basically putting the foundation under the bridge, pretty much. Yeah. Grassley coming on the scene right now. Come on.
Sandy Thompson would like to know, Jen, I am taking a weekend road trip. Will my trip be good, and will there be no vehicle breakdowns?
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Christine,
do you have a little bit of a transmission slip? He said in one of the cars, to take a look at that.
Press for Kitty. Thank you, Christine. I'm really optimistic that the ivermectin and the cortisone is going to give her some relief from her scratching and itching, and maybe help her cancer, and give her a few more months of time with her daddy, because her daddy loves her very much. Jay Bell says, my dog Buck was diagnosed with kidney failure, so I so glad I took Jen's advice and took him to the vet. I give subcutaneous fluids to now help him. Yeah, it's one of those things I can't do with Aurora, but she has kidney issues too. That's probably what's going to get her in the end. But good. Marcus Toledo, Jen, with Biden and Harris gone, will Russia Today return to the airwaves? And may Press TV be able to be streamed in the USA as well? I don't know what Press TV is. I guess it's a news service of some kind.
I do see it returning. I don't know exactly when, but there will be a point where everything is opened up and free again, and it will explode. There'll be so many places. But yeah.
Jules in Maryland says Pfizer did sponsor the Oscars, and yes, they have a new drug for alopecia. That makes me suspicious of what happened the other night. Jennifer Gadbaugh says Matt Gaetz tried to enter Hunter's laptop and receipt into evidence in Congress yesterday. More Gentel. How's that Gentel? Did you say something like that was going to happen? I don't remember. But I understand it was entered into the congressional record.
I was expecting something. I can't remember. Yeah. I can't remember everything I say. Either. I need somebody to write it. Oh, she said this. Write it down.
Well, I did that, but I was doing
around with a pad.
But I had a bad day on Monday and didn't make it in to do the show because I was stoned out of my mind. It turned out for no reason because I didn't have any dental work done. Jeff Calvin, Jen, a friend of ours named John, had a major stroke. Is he going to make it? That's very unfair to put on Jen's shoulders. We keep telling you that. She can't tell you if somebody's going to live or die. It's really unfair to put it on. But Jen, if you want to answer or you have an answer, you can give it to him. But I don't know. I just wish you guys would stop asking questions.
They'll tell me if they are going to make it.
They will tell you if they are going to make it. Okay.
Yeah, but hi, Jennifer. Me, when are they going to die? Or only God knows the day.
Yeah. Hi, Jennifer. Who built the pyramids? Aliens.
Go watch my show, Oski, on philosophy on Telegram. I just posted the link today.
So go to Telegram.
It's too much to explain.
Telegram channel along with mine, and
bunch of freaky, weird-looking things.
Buck Fiden, Jennifer, does the phrase translucent house of Illuminati mean anything? My lady said that she heard it in a dream last night, right before she woke up.
Yeah, I get a cleanse because that's not.
Tell her to get a cleanse.
Ooh, the translucent house of Illuminati. I mean, who's talking to you there? Probably a bad guy. He's trying to lead you in the wrong direction.
Okay. Kimberly Duncan, my son Michael died in 2010. I'm very sorry.
Oh, so sorry.
Is he trying to contact me? I'd say, of course.
He's been with you often, since. I think because the only thing I can say here is, if without doing this privately, we could talk to him if you wanted to. It's gotten to a point where I think it's time. You've reached a time where you could try to talk to him and learn more about talking to him yourself.
All right. Dave Barrow wants to know, could twins be a dual separation of the same soul? God, I hope not. No, they're not. They're two separate souls in nearly identical bodies.
I think we've got, Dave, there is no way you and Mike are the same soul.
No. So just stop worrying about it.
No.
Stop worrying about that. Okay, let's go back here. Looking for, those are ones I had queued up. Is Meryl Streep still alive? Victoria Adams would like to know. Thought she was the other day, but.
I hate it when people ask me this because I get information that's so out there. It's like, I'm like, okay, I'll just destroy my... I don't know if I have any credibility anyway, so we'll just do it. She's been dead for a long time.
Wow. Okay. Victoria Adams bought Nugent today. Good for you. Good. Nice job. I hope it works. I mean, don't throw your life savings into it yet, but it looks like it's gonna, looks like it's got a lot of upside. So let's all do that. And Kevin Strupp says hello. What's the minimum you can buy? I do not know. I'm just a talking head. I'm just helping them out because they got a new product. What is the asset that backs Nugent? It's a whole bunch of different stuff. It's there in some of the statements, hemp, and they got investments in a lot of different places. So you shall see. And let's keep an eye out for those announcements. Is Sotomayor alive? Good question. Hope not.
I don't know who that is, and I said I can't tell you that. I don't know why.
Jen, why are requests on Facebook being ignored? I think you told everybody you were kind of moving away from Facebook.
Mine?
Yeah, I think that's what she's saying.
Because I don't see them when I get on my phone. I have a huge group at Facebook. I haven't been in there because my life has gotten so busy that I can hardly even keep up. I mean, I can hardly even keep up with the house and the kids and the family and the readings and the healings and the shows and everything. I used to have a lot more time on my hands, and I used to spend a lot of time on Facebook. I since have been moving away from Facebook and rarely open it up other than just to scroll. So unless you message me on Messenger, it's best to go to Telegram because that's where you're going to get the best information and see me most often now.
Sandra Bullock and Bruce Willis are going to stop acting. Are they in Gitmo? Interesting question.
Bruce Willis is.
I saw Bruce Willis at this roast of him, and he couldn't really talk very well.
Yeah, I just saw Bruce Willis with, it almost looks like white scrubs on, like all white, something, like, I don't know, prison garb or something. It's white, though. Sandra Bullock, I'm not sure about. She's definitely in trouble for something, but I don't know if she's there yet.
You know who should quit acting is Patrick Stewart. I've been sort of suffering through this miserable Star Trek Picard thing just because I just thought, but he's so old, he's like 90 and he can barely speak anymore. It's like, dude, just retire, okay? Just really, really retire.
That's not okay.
Kathleen Alba Perez.
Not okay.
Well, I mean,
you're so mean.
But it's like pathetic because, Shatner, he's 91. He's Shatner. He can still talk and he's sharp and he's, I don't know. It's just when you can't really speak anymore, why are you still pretending to act? Why are you doing it? You're just ruining our memories of what a great actor you were. Kathleen Alba Perez, Jen, family vacation over Easter holiday. Will we be okay?
Yeah, but there might be a couple that don't come.
Panipa Beckstrom, should my mom sell her property to my oldest sister?
Well, it would be at a loss and probably not appreciated. That's a personal decision. Can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you how she would feel after she did.
Penny Curry, I saw a week or two ago, Willis sold one of his homes or something. A lot of celebs selling your homes. On the other hand, LA has become a complete shithole. So, you got homeless people living 3 blocks from your mansion in Beverly Hills. Might be time to sell and move someplace else. April 4th is a day many psychics and prophets are predicting a coming false flag. What about you, Jen? You're not going to join the club?
Oh. No. April 4th. What's April 4th? Look at April 4th. Let me look at it. Hang on. I don't know. I didn't get that off the top of my head.
Well, that's next week. That's next Monday.
The dates I get. See, here's the thing. It's when you ask a question. Like, when everybody asks me, is Trump going to win the election? Yes. Yes. Yes.
He did win.
Yes.
He did.
All the... Yeah. But that's not what we saw. And then everybody comes back at me like my parents, like, see, you're not getting these answers. And I'm like, you know what? Someday you're going to be old, and I'm going to have to take care of you. So you better be nicer to me. But,
that's right. And he did win, by the way.
Yeah, I'll see the truth. So a lot of these dates that I get, whether we see it or not, like I was getting the 29th, I was getting lots of different dates over the past few months that, I still think are accurate. I don't care what anybody says. They told me the dates. I'm going to stick with it. If I'm wrong, throw spears at me. I don't care.
Yeah, well, they haven't given you a date.
I don't feel anything for the 4th. 4th is a Monday. It could possibly happen then. What I was told was first week of April, so it could be. Could be.
They haven't given you a date in a while. Why did Ivanka post another injection she got on yesterday's post?
What is up with her? She was over in the Ukraine.
Don't know if you can trust her.
God, God, that would be so sad for him.
Yeah.
I don't know if she is kind of like double agent or something. Like,
wow.
Trying to appear a certain way, soft, and that woman is not soft. Let me tell you right now. She tries to appear soft and, oh, I'm just gonna go over here and help everybody in Ukraine and everybody, you know, and I don't know what's going on with Ivanka, but I wouldn't discount her from the white hat movement. That's all I have to say.
Jen, will Nassar Jassar rid me of the people who've stolen my identity? There are over 12 felons using all or part of my unique name. Wow.
God,
you would think
that
scares kind of stuff
me.
Fixed. Yeah.
We probably all have somebody, you know? God. I don't know. Will it? Yes, immediately. Okay. I don't know
how. Okay. I am Marta Robinson, and I would like to know if my 95-year-old will be okay if she has gallbladder surgery. I'm really concerned the surgery will kill her. I guess that's going to be your mom, 95-year-old mom. I had the surgery, and it's not a big deal.
She'll survive the operation. It's going to be really hard on her afterwards. So what I'm worried about is the recovery.
Yeah. Biden is supposed to get his booster shot today. Will something happen with that?
Biden hasn't got a one vaccination, is what I just heard.
Yeah.
Not one.
There's also pictures of two of his vaccinations, and on one he's got a bald arm, and then the next time he's got super hairy arms. So it's like, is it even the same guy? I don't know. Okay. Victoria says, Jen, it wasn't nutrition that made my dad super thin. He has cancer in 4 areas of his lungs and bladder. I can barely handle the news. I don't want him to suffer. Prayers, please. Yeah, certainly for your dad.
Did I say it was nutrition?
I don't know. Jen did say Hunter info this week. Oh, that's what it is. That's the hard drive. Yeah, Hunter info this week.
Okay. Thanks, Jennifer. You're on the team. Write down everything I say. Because I forget. Unless it's in my spiral notebooks here.
No, it's impossible to give Aurora subcutaneous fluids. If I could even hold her long enough to do it once, she'd never let me do it again. She'd never let me get within 10 feet of her again. And no, not applying anything to her wounds and stuff, just out of the question, because she will not tolerate it. The only thing she's tolerated is she did tolerate me putting a little bit of ivermectin on her back yesterday as part of Jen's treatment protocol that we're hoping for. So, no,
granted, Victoria, it's not always my place to tell somebody if they have cancer. I really don't do that. It's irresponsible. If I see that somebody has cancer, I tell you to go to the doctor and get checked out and let them tell you. Because it's not for me to say, oh, your grandpa has cancer, take him, So, if you would like a free healing for him, you can come to me. You can email me and give me his picture. Sorry that I didn't see that in him for you. But look into the ivermectin. People are taking, there has been studies and doctors that use that to heal certain kinds of cancer.
Yeah. Jen, is there any chance whatsoever that I can buy the land next to me? And if so, how? Well, get money and give it to the people. That's one of the ways.
You could. They want too much money for it. They're pains in the ass. It's going to be a problem. But you could go through that and buy
it. Jade says Will Smith was on the Epstein plane, but not Chris Rock. Is that true? It's true as far as I know. Jen, what do you get? Went to Epstein Island.
So Chris Rock is not a pedophile, and I don't think he's in the cult, but I think that he has worked for people that are, so it's kind of involved, but I think he somehow escaped it and kind of stepped out, stayed on the outskirts of being involved in that kind of stuff. But has worked for people that are, and stays quiet about it. He knows certain things, so I think that's why, I was going to say, why he did not come out against Will Smith. He apologized for his behavior, and because he knows that he's dealing with a bigger animal.
When Dave Chappelle told the story that Bill Cosby and Oprah Winfrey broke into his house in the middle of the night and threatened his life if he didn't stop telling all the N-bomb jokes, was that true or was he just crazy?
Who was this?
Dave Chappelle. This is about 10 years ago.
Broke into his house? Cosby?
He woke up and he said Bill Cosby and Oprah were there and they read the riot act and told me that they could do this anytime they wanted. And if I didn't stop saying certain things and making certain jokes, that they were going to off me. That's what he said, in essence.
I think that was kind of a funny way to tell a story that is partially true. I don't think that actually happened, but I think that he told the story that way.
Okay, interesting. Action back at the White House currently is that the White Hats taking control. Apparently there's some action going on, probably Nancy Drew video or something.
See, we need to be more specific with this if you really want to get action back at the White House currently. Well, that could be somebody mowing the lawn. So, what are we talking about here? What do you want to know?
Good question. Timothy Hanlon, you ask this question every week, 3 times a week. The answer is always yes. Jen, is the answer still yes?
Yeah. Do the work, and you will see the results.
Relax. Will and wife were in Scientology. Yep, that's true. Cliff High's Twitter account was suspended. He hit a nerve. I've had 14 Twitter accounts suspended practically at this point. Cliff doesn't know what he's talking about, especially about certain people and certain financial things. So I'm sorry he got suspended. I enjoy his tweets just so I can laugh at them later.
There's always going to be... It's always going to fall a little bit short when people use technology to create or to retrieve information that can be retrieved naturally or can be produced naturally. We see that in medications when they say, oh, this is scientists, oh, find me a cure for this. And they come back, we found this natural cure for this. Okay, great. Now go make a synthetic so that we can make money off of it. Forget about the natural one. When they could have just gave the person the natural one and been completely cured. Now you get the synthetic and your body says, I don't know what to do with it. So the way Cliff High is retrieving information leaves a lot of holes. Okay? It takes the human out of it. And, just like the Project Looking Glass. It may create the experience. But like you said, it's read-only. It's not complete. So...
Einstein is a prime example of this. Einstein's theory of relativity is wrong in several different ways. The reason it's wrong is because the basis for his equations was electromagnetic equations done by James Clerk Maxwell. The reality is, however, that James Clerk Maxwell actually did all of his calculations in higher dimensions. He used higher spatial dimensions, hyperdimensions. But Oliver Heaviside, who was succeeded Maxwell, hated that aspect of his work. He called it mystical and felt that it should be murdered from the theory. So he took all of that stuff out of Maxwell's equations. So what everybody thinks are James Clerk Maxwell's equations about electromagnetism are in fact Oliver Heaviside's equations. As a result, everybody who came after that is working with a limited subset of a much richer, broader reality, meaning that all physical theories since then are all restricted by the fact that we're not working with what Jen works with, which is higher spatial dimensions. The same thing applies to Cliff High. Cliff has got a limited software technology that is not the whole picture, that doesn't explain to him what's really going on with human consciousness. And this book tells you all about it and why he's wrong and what he's missing. And it's so frustrating to me because if I could just get certain people to read this book, they would have the whole picture. Cliff's got 80% of the picture. Greg Braden has 80% of the picture. And then the last 20%, the whole thing falls apart. It may as well say, there be dragons here. Okay. when you get to that 20%. I have the other 20%. Read the book. You'll sort it out. It's like, I don't know. I don't know why people take that stuff seriously anymore. Until we get the truth, which is that we live in a hyperdimensional universe, meaning there are other realms and other planes, heavens above us, which is what Maxwell understood, we'll never unify gravity and magnetism. Never. Never. The unified field theory is impossible without Maxwell's original equations. But if you have those, you get this, which is the understanding of everything.
Right. You never just have one thought. You never just have one consequence. There's never one other than God. That's the only one there is. So
that's right.
If there's one dimension, there is another. If there is one vibration, there is another. It's everything.
No, there's only one existence. It's a flat plane. It's a snow globe with the firmament above it. And the sun just spins around at a really low altitude, Jen, and lights the whole planet up. And there's nothing beyond that. There's an ice wall, and nothing goes beyond that either. There's nothing there except evil.
Well, okay, so how does your body pass through that wall to get to heaven then?
Don't ask me those questions.
What would heaven be then?
My name is Phil. I know.
Heaven would be another dimension. Okay, so if we've got this dimension and another dimension, so then where's the bad place? Oh, the bad place is another dimension. Okay, well then if we've got 3 now, there must be 6, and if there's 6, then there must be 12, and then it's endless. It's the number one thing I absolutely learned first from the angels is that to believe in infinite possibilities.
Yeah. And the thing is, Jen, is that the whole flat Earth thing is so limited.
I don't really care what the shape of the Earth is.
Well, no,
but I'm talking about what's outside of it. I'm talking about what's beyond that.
Their thinking is the only way humanity can be special is if the Earth is flat and it's the only realm and there's nothing else and there's no stars and there's no other planets. That's bullshit. We can still be the most special souls in the entire universe, which I still think we are. That's why do you think aliens are here? Because we're special. Okay? We're not on their planet trying to learn shit from them. Because you know why? Because they don't have what we have. And the fact that the universe is so expansive and there's think of all of the space and all of the reality that exists out there just in this 3D physical universe, and then multiply that times all the other dimensions. Holy crap. That's a lot of stuff.
And so you know what we need to start doing? It doesn't really make any goddamn difference to me. Because I'm going to function around in my own little area for this lifetime task at hand for what I have to do, and then I'm going home. All right? Not for a while, but then I'm going home. Yeah. But, what we need to do right now is, and what I do sometimes is like when I get fed up with something, I'm just like, you know what? Okay. All right. So if this is my reality, everybody I see and everything I see is created by me for this reality, for this incarnation as a separation of God, then I'm going to start saying what's going to happen here. All right. You know what's going to happen here is I'm going to see this and I'm going to see that. And this is going to happen, and everybody's going to be okay, and that's what Mama's doing, all right? So that's what we need to do, is we need to walk around like this, see it in your mind. Blessed Mother told me. She gave me this rock. She said it was the stone of creation or something. They'll do that in meditation just so you have something you can hold on to and say, okay, this helps me do this. She said you have to see it, you have to say it, and then you have to fully be it. So that is the 3 prongs of, the levels of creation. You have to fully believe it. You have to say it in your mind. You don't have to say it out loud, like in the grocery store or anything. People think you're crazy. And you see it. You start daydreaming. You see it. That's why you have the ability to do this. That's why you have the ability for memory. That's why you have the ability to see things in your mind, because you are creating with these 3 things. You can speak in your mind, you can see in your mind, and you can believe something. And that's how you create it. So now we need to move into the spiritual realm now and start working there. That's why I'm here. You ever wonder why little old me got invited on this show? You think it was an accident? No. I didn't know it. I was like, God, I'm fat. I don't want to be on video. You know, like, but then it was important. I heard you have to be seen. So little old me or little old somebody else somewhere else in your life is trying to teach everybody on a mass scale that we need to help this creation of this new world right now. So start now.
Okay, quicker answers. William Alec, when will ETs be landing on Moss? 3 years, 5 years? When are we going to start having more alien stuff being big? Any ballpark on that? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years?
What are they going to start landing?
When are we going to be unable to?
I don't know, thousands and thousands of years ago. I mean,
what? No,
when are we going to see it
unable?
Mainstream? Not for a long time, because people are dealing with this right now.
Yeah,
you can't throw everything at everybody at once.
Yeah. Lucy says, Jen, I have an old home. Should I sell now or stay and repair? Love it or list it? It's a love it or list it question.
Well, that's a decision of yours. It's probably in your best interest to stay there for a while and fix it up and then decide to go.
Love it. David Murtos, I'm being sued by a former employee for wrongful termination. Will I win the case?
No.
Is AOC a white hat mole? I don't think so. She's just dumb. She's just dumb as a post.
No, she's one of those like brainwashed like actors for the deep state that was put into position.
Bruce has aphasia. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Don't know.
I do have to go though.
All right. Looking for a few more personal things. Diana Leyland says, I had my unemployment hearing and I was denied my benefits. I have to believe there is something better for me. That sucks.
Try again.
Yeah, appeal it if you can appeal it.
I saw you getting it. Try again.
Will EBS happen within the next 2 weeks, and will there be...
I'm not doing that.
No? I'm not doing that? Okay.
I didn't want to talk about that. I'm so upset about that. This is what I originally saw about the EBS, okay? There has to be a major event to justify the emergency broadcast system, okay? There has to be like, okay, everything's black, what's going on? There's soldiers in the streets, oh my god, something like that to justify that. I always thought that would come from the backlash of Trump being back in office and the changeover of everything and the rest of the minions going around that are left over that they can't really find coming out of the woodwork and creating chaos. Because the original post says, we're taking back our great country from those that wish to do us harm. And if that is part of the emergency broadcast, then we would have to have some kind of major event here in order to justify that. We may not need the emergency broadcast to get him back into office or to do the Nasara. So
that's right.
That's something I'm very confused about, but that's what I originally got.
Okay, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today. I will not be back tomorrow. Well, I don't know about tomorrow yet. I have to get my travel schedule figured out. I don't think Friday is going to happen. I don't know about tomorrow. I doubt Saturday is going to happen, but it's possible. It's very possible, but I will be traveling to New York to do some TV stuff. So can't tell you anything more about it. I don't know what's up in the air. I will let everybody know on Telegram, on Instagram, and on Facebook what the show schedule is. But as of now, this is the last show for the week, unless anything happens where I have to do a live stream from the airport with Jen because something really miraculous has happened. Jen, any final thoughts?
Let it go. Take some time off. Let me really have a vacation this week. You guys, I am still commenting on Telegram philosophy. Do we have a banner for that?
Yes, we do. JenniferFalah.com, YouTube Jennifer Falah Doran, and Philosophy on Telegram. Free psychic.
Go to Telegram, join Philosophy. I do have a chat group there. I post a whole bunch of stuff. I put my thoughts down whenever it comes, so you can stay updated there, even if we're not doing the show.
Sounds like fun. Also, don't forget, you can send me some love at paypal.me/Mike Barra and Venmo at Mike-Barra. I just paid Blake Wally yesterday. I need some money. I have to pay him. Thank you guys for being here. It's been wonderful. I will let everybody know on Telegram and various social medias what the show schedule is going to be once I have it figured out. Love you guys. Have a great one. If not, I guess Jen and I will probably see you back here on Monday at the earliest. All right. Thanks for being here and have a great